Are you ready to conquer one of Colorado's tallest and most breathtaking peaks just west of Leadville, Colorado? Join us as we hike to the summit, standing at 14,421 feet. The Mount Massive vistas are stunning, and hiking to the summit of this 14er is an epic adventure in the heart of the Rockies. You might even see a marmot or maybe even a mountain goat. Let's get hiking. And we're off to summit Mount Massive. We've never done this one before, so we don't know what we're getting into.
So let's do it. Mount Massive is the second highest peak in Colorado. There are several routes to the summit. We took the east slope, or the main trail, which is 13.6 miles round trip, with an elevation gain of 4,500 feet. The trailhead starts at Mount Massive Trailhead, also known as the Fish Hatchery Trailhead, via Half Moon Road, which is a quarter of a mile past the Mount Elbert Trailhead. This well-marked trail starts off in dense forest, gradually ascending above the tree line, offering stunning alpine scenery and panoramic views as you approach the summit.
We are now 2 miles up the Mount Massive Trail, and so far it's an awesome trail. There's a few little steep pitches, but for the most part, it's kind of mild in terms of the pitch so far. But Mimi and I have a bet. So the bet is, at what mile are we going to get to the tree line to where we're no longer in the trees and we're above the tree line? I say mile marker 4, and Mimi says
4.5.
So we'll see. 4.5. We'll let you know when we get to the tree line. Hey, if you're looking to bang out a couple 14ers in one trip in almost the same location, I would recommend doing Mount Elbert and Mount Massive just west of Leadville, Colorado. And the cool thing about both of these 14ers, they're up Half Moon Road. And so as you're going up Half Moon on the dirt road, you're gonna see the Mount Elbert trailhead on the left side, and then exactly a quarter of a mile up the road on the right side, you're gonna see the Mount Massive trailhead. So again, logistically, doing those two 14ers in the same trip, really easy because you can stay in the same location and bang them out.
At 2.3, there's a little stream that we're gonna have to cross here. It's pretty cool.
Stream crossing number 2, it's at 3 miles. I'm debating whether I go across the rocks or go across the log up here. I think I'm gonna take the log route. Come on.
Yeah, I am.
At 3 miles, you don't want to miss it. You're on the Colorado Trail, and the Colorado keeps going straight. You want to make sure you turn left to go up the Mount Massive Trail. And right now, somebody's got the trees marked so you don't miss it, but these may or may not be here. So pay attention. At about mile marker 3, you want to turn left going up Mount Massive. Starting to warm up, and it's time to shed the jacket. What is that thing? Go closer.
I don't want to scare it.
Get as close as you can to it.
Hi, buddy.
If anybody knows what that kind of bird that is, let us know.
That's a baby turkey of some sort. Or
It looks real super cool.
there it goes.
Well, it looks like Mimi won the bet. We're at about 4.5 miles, about 12,200 feet, and we're just past the tree line. So it looks like I'm buying pizza after the hike.
At High Mountain Pizza in Leadville, our favorite place.
I can't believe we're already thinking about pizza and we haven't made it to the summit yet.
We've got about a mile left to go. We're gonna take a little stop and fuel up. We have the summit's right there. We've got about a mile left. We got this.
At about 6.2 miles, there's a little saddle before the final stretch up to the summit. And this saddle's pretty awesome because there's incredible views in both directions. So behind me in the backdrop is Leadville and Turquoise Lake. And then if we flip this around, we got Mount Elbert in the background and also some incredible views. Check this out. Mountain goat, billy goat, I don't know, what is it?
He's coming our way. Not afraid of us at all. He's probably used to it. Hey guy.
Made it to the summit of Mount Massive.
Woohoo!
We're at the summit, and from the saddle to the summit is about 0.5 miles, and that is by far the toughest section. There's a lot of bouldering, it's technical, you kind of get off trail, but you'll find your way. But we are here, and the views are absolutely incredible. We get a lot of questions when we're out on one of our outdoor adventures, doing a epic hike in terms of a lot of the gear that we used. So I want to go through some of the gear that we use. First off, I have become obsessed with long sleeve hoodies, especially to stay out of the sun. I've had some close calls with skin cancer, and the Outdoor Research hoodie is by far my favorite. And if you look at my closet, I've got just about every brand imaginable, and I've become obsessed. And the Outdoor Research is by far the best hoodie, I think. And the women, there's a women specific that has a hole in the back where you could put your ponytail out. So they have a men and women specific. The other thing is on these longer treks, you want a Garmin that's going to last. I've got the Enduro, and it's got a solar charger. So a lot of the times on the shorter stuff, I'll use like the Garmin Forerunner, I think. And that one just won't last. It lasts for about 5 hours. So you need a watch that's going to last on these longer treks. Next, especially for 14ers or anything steep, you want trekking poles. Our favorite are the Black Diamond. They're carbon, they're super light. They compact down really easy. So they compact down into 3 sections, and they fold up, whoa, super easy. So these Black Diamonds are our go-to of choice. They're not cheap. They're probably one of the more expensive poles on the market, but they're worth every penny. So Black Diamonds. In terms of some gear, you always want to have layers when you're doing a 14er. I like this Patagonia. It's kind of like their wind hoodie. So the nice thing is it's got a little bit of waterproofness to it, but if it's windy and you're on top of a summit, it just takes the edge off. The pack that I've really been digging lately is the Osprey 11. It's a little bit bigger, but it's nice when you want to bring layers and you don't want to be really restricted in terms of space. It works well because I can put my camera and my GoPro, so it allows me to carry both. And then in terms of, a lot of people ask for what we do in terms of recording. I like the GoPro cameras, the 12, they're really user friendly. They're voice activated, so you can give it commands as you go, which makes it really easy to film. And then something that's really important that we just started doing is ND filters. When it's really sunny out, If you throw ND filters on, it makes the footage a whole lot better in terms of a lot more cinematic. These are the Freewell ND filters. And then for really good photos, this isn't cheap as well, but it's a mirrorless, it's the smallest mirrorless camera. It's the Sony RX100, but it's a mirrorless camera, so the quality is awesome. But you're gonna pay the price on this one. They're not cheap. And then, depending on what we're doing, I've got my DJI GoPro Mini, or not GoPro, DJI Mini 4 Pro. And that's another reason why I've recently upgraded to this Osprey 11. I was using more of an ultra running pack, and this gives me the volume in the room to be able to bring all this stuff. So that's pretty much it. And then lastly, another thing that I love is these Outdoor Research sun gloves. They make full finger gloves, and then they make like half finger gloves. And when you're using your trekking poles, your hands can just get hammered by the sun. And then it also gives you this, you know, having gloves on, you're not going to get blisters. So today it was kind of cool starting out, and it was cool up top. But on warmer days, I'll just wear the half finger sun gloves. So again, sun protection for me is key. So that's pretty much for this trek. And that's kind of my go-to gear. So we're working our way down Mount Massive, and just want to go over things to consider now that we have done the hike. And the first thing that you always want to consider when you're doing a 14er is check the weather. And especially on a day like today, it turned out sunny and weather's rolling in. We can hear thunder and lightning in the background, and a little bit of raindrops. So check the weather, which leads us to the next thing, is that you want to get an early start. Any 14er, because weather can roll in. And so we started today at 6 o'clock. The next thing to consider is we're on the Colorado section of it right now, and you can see in the background right here, there's people camping out. So you could actually do an overnighter. And so the section of the Colorado Trail, it's like the first probably 3 or 4 miles. There's some awesome places to camp, and then there's 2 creek crossings, so you could filter water. The next thing to consider is make sure you bring layers. When we were at the top, it did get chilly. Any 14er, it's going to be windy and it can be chilly, and so you just want to make sure you've got layers. And then the other thing to consider is a lot of people do Mount Massive and Elbert when they're coming to Leadville, because they're right across the street from each other, so you can bang out 2 14ers. And we did Elbert 2 days ago, and in our opinion, Elbert was harder. So even though Massive's longer, I would do Elbert first and then Mount Massive. And in our opinion, like if we had to choose between the two, even though Elbert's the highest peak in 14er in Colorado, and it's the highest peak in the lower 48, if I had to choose, I would choose Mount Massive. It was really pretty. It kind of reminded us of Whitney in terms of the views. We're coming up on a creek crossing right now. So I would choose between those two. And then lastly, I'm gonna try to attempt to do this crossing a river. Lastly, you want to bring trekking poles. Whoa, 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 got it. Let's see what Mimi's got. And lastly, trekking poles were extremely helpful today, especially the last 0.6 miles from the saddle up to the summit. It gets super steep, super technical, and even on the way up, it was a gradual up, and trekking poles were extremely helpful. So that's our take on summiting Mount Massive. Hopefully that was helpful. Mimi and I were just talking. There's a lot of people that come to Leadville early to train for the Leadville 100 run. And when they do that, they'll do Elbert as one of their training to get some altitude training. And Mimi and I both done the Leadville 100, and we did do Elbert for our training. But in hindsight, now that we've done Massive, I think Massive is a much better, more runnable. It's a lot more runnable. It's not as steep, so you can get the altitude training, and you can get, you know, the climb and the downhill, but it is much more runnable. So at the end of the day, if you're coming to Leadville and you want to get in some training and you're considering Elbert or Massive, I would probably do Mount Massive over Elbert because it's much more runnable. We are done back at the parking lot in the Trailhead. And what an epic 14er hike it was. Turned out to be 13.37 miles, and our total moving time was 5 hours and 52 minutes.
And now it's time for me to collect my bet. We're going to our favorite pizza place in Leadville, Colorado. I can't wait.
I'm hungry, let's do it. Driving down Half Moon Road, and we got out of there just in the nick of time, and there's a lot of people up on that mountain that are gonna get dumped on. Another reason to get an early start, but as you can see, it is now raining. And now comes the reward. It's pizza time.
I am so excited. Woo-hoo!
High Mountain Pies, Leadville, Colorado. If you're in Leadville, you gotta check it out. The pizzas are here. I got the margarita.
And I got the San Luis, and it has barbecued pork, cheese, avocados, green chilies. Cannot wait.
And they have gluten-free crust here, so we've got them on a gluten-free crust.
This is so good.
Well, that pizza hit the spot.
It was so awesome.
And that wraps up our summiting Mount Massive. And do us a huge favor, if you got value out of this video, give us an internet high five by liking it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And for more awesome outdoor adventure videos, you can subscribe to the channel. And we just want to thank you for watching Inspire to Go, making memories one adventure at a time.
And what is your next adventure? We'd love to hear from you.
Make it a great day.